Hoy en Mente Hispana.
Preparation is the key to anything that you're going to be successful. If you don't create a roadmap for success, then you don't know where you're going. You're just stagnant. You're just living.
Welcome to Mente Hispana, a thought leadership show. This is the show where we talk with Hispanic leaders who are building, transforming, and inspiring our community. Today, we have a very special guest, Joseph Matrix George. He is the co-founder of George and George Alternative Dispute Resolution Group, where he works as an international arbitrator, mediator, EEO investigator, HR mediator, and ADR trainer. He is also the CEO of Tech World IQ, a major conference that brings together experts and leaders in today's technology world. He specializes in solving organizational conflicts, improving communication, and grow stronger. Joseph is known for his leadership, global experience, and his ability to help people work better together. Joseph, it's a pleasure to have you here at Mente Hispana. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a little bit chilly in Florida, but I'm making it work.
Oh, great. Now, for our listeners who may be meeting you for the first time, can you tell us a little bit more about who you are and the work you do?
Yes. And again, it's a great pleasure to be here on your show. This is a wonderful show for people to actually learn what thought leaders do on a local as well as a global scale. But I do arbitration and mediation and negotiation. So I assist people in resolving the disputes through different mediums, whether it's arbitration, mediation, or negotiation. If it's arbitration, then the parties come to me to settle the dispute. It's similar to a judge. If it's mediation, then I assist both parties in resolving the dispute. They control the outcome of the dispute. Maybe it's negotiation. I have law firms as well as businesses that would enlist me to negotiate on their behalf, whether it's negotiating a contract, negotiating mergers and acquisitions, or just negotiating something with a distributor or manufacturers. Those are the realms that I am in. It's wonderful to do that for my clients.
Wow, that's amazing. And I think that's one of the toughest job I ever had, like to be negotiating with different cultures and parts of the world, people, different surroundings. It could be in business, it could be by contracts, it could be between governments. I mean, this is amazing. But before we go deeper into this, I want to know, uh, in your early days, did you imagine you will be doing something like this? And how did it became your profession? Like, how was it your youth and your early years in order to make this decision to?
And I started off in IT doing networking. I enjoyed doing that, and then coming to America from the Virgin Islands and seeing that it's bigger world from the Virgin Islands. You come up here, and at the time when I came to America, Tiger Direct was the big computer company. Then I learned about Best Buy. I couldn't compete with those guys in IT, so I decided, trying to find a different medium for me, a career path for me to go down. And COVID hit. Fast forward to that, and then while I was laid up in bed with a knee injury, a friend of mine who was telling me about the course allow the mediation training and arbitration training to go online to get that training versus in person. So I said, since I'm laid up in the bed anyway, trying to recover, I might as well do something. So I took the course, and ever since I took I've catapulted into this career and gone from just Florida to now doing cases in all over the world. In Saudi Arabia, working with my counterparts, different law firms that work on the global scale, for Japan, China, different parts of Asia, Ghana, in Africa, in Nigeria, and those other parts of the world, as well as the Virgin Islands, assistant parties. Again, whether it's in arbitration or mediation or negotiation, our firm assists those parties in that realm.
Oh, that's amazing. Sometimes when we have a challenge in our lives, as we were having COVID and you have your knee injury, then we're like presented with these opportunities, and then we have like these options, right? Like, should I take it or should I don't? And these, for you to choose to start through this pathway have been a huge decision for you. And for all the people that you are helping through all this these processes and arbitration and negotiation, what is the thing that you love the most about your job?
I love the complex cases. I really love the complex cases when people just cannot seem to find that pathway they can actually agree upon something. And then I come in and I assist them with it and then to help them resolve it. And then the partnership didn't get to where it get real ugly. I like where they still have that love, that partnership, that friendship is saved. That's the best part for me. When the friendship or the partnership. To me, that's the money is good, but to me to me having somebody who come in that is so complex case that is so complex that they cannot seem to find a path to resolution, and then assisting them with that, to me, that's the best thing for me. And I think a lot of people who's passionate about doing the ADR, I think a lot of them feel the same way, that assisting them to resolve it and helping them to retain that relationship is critical for us. It's like the jewel hitting the jackpot.
Yeah, and I think that's the most difficult part. I mean, you can get a deal or get on the side of anyone or according to the what you're presented on the table. The human relationships, I mean, to maintain under such stressful circumstances, the relationship between the humans, that's I believe is going to be the hardest part. I, I can relate to you when you said that to maintain the relationship, maybe they won't be best friends, but they will have a cordial relationship and they will be in mutual agreement of what they're doing. And that's, I think, something great and really, really tough to do.
Yes, especially, you know what, especially in the construction disputes. As with construction, it's so complex. Contractors, they may argue today, but they might end up seeing each other on another job site. So for construction, it's best to maintain that relationship because they may need each other down the road. We
Yeah.
building a house today and we're arguing, and then tomorrow they might be putting up a shopping center to create that to keep that professional relationship intact with the parties. I think that's best. Again, in construction, it's best critical, and it's most important in construction.
Yeah, I agree. Which other industries you work with? You have construction, but do you have others, or it can be anyone who is having like any sort of conflict or business with other in the foreign countries?
We well, we because I have other panel members that work within my firm, and attorneys who work with me, and retired judges who work with me. So we have a vast market where area that we we service. But for me personally, I do the construction, I do the employment and labor. Uh, my biggest thing is my cannabis. So I assist the cannabis industry with resolving their zone. I work with contracts. So, there's a lot of breach of contract. Another big one for me is landlord and tenant dispute, whether it's residential or commercial. Sometimes that market is kind of crazy, especially the residential side, because now this landlord's saying, "Hey, you got to get out my property. I don't want you." And the other person saying, "Well, I want to stay. I have nowhere to go." The residential landlord and tenant dispute, that one is it becomes complex, just like the construction. The commercial side of it, the landlord and tenant, you know, you got this guy who has a business and he can't move his business because his customers are still coming there. So that gets to be a little bit tricky. But again, the landlords still have bills to pay just like they have. But we tackle a lot of different industries. So if somebody wants to come to us, they contact us and we let them know what area we practice, like intellectual property. We do a lot of intellectual property disputes also. But and then again, because we're global, we handle a lot of different markets to assist, whether it could be agricultural or it could be somewhat of the mergers and acquisitions, because you have some companies that's like say over in Asia that's buying a business here, acquiring a business here in the United States. They still have to do their due diligence and their risk management. So sometimes they'll bring me in to either negotiate something, or if there's something that one party did not disclose during the assessment, then they'll bring us in and say, listen, we have this dispute. We cannot seem to resolve it and close this deal. What can you do for us? And then we'll pretty much go in there and ask them, what option do you want? You want us to do mediation? Do you want us to do arbitration? Or you want me to negotiate on one person's behalf? And sometimes because ADR has grown so quickly now, so now they're merging arbitration and mediation. So they'll try like mediation first. If they cannot agree in mediation, then they'll move forward with arbitration. So we call that met up. Or they'll do arbitration first. It's non-binding arbitration. And then if they can't do that, then they'll try to negotiate it in mediation.
All right. Can you share with us? I'm intrigued. Like one of these complex cases that you have worked with. I know that most of them have confidential information, but just to share with us just one experience that you had, like it did was really complicated, but we do it and we made it happen for both parties, or something that you can share.
It was it's one of our, because another area that we work is high net worth. So we work with people that's over $1 million plus, clients. So this was a high net worth case where it was two friends. They have I think it's like a $20 million car collection, and their partnership went sour. So now they're like trying to figure out how to split the car collection, and each of them have a love for a certain car. So they had like five classic cars, and so we told them, well, you can't have the five cars. So we got them to narrow it down, like you take these two cars, and this other one take the two cars, and you could take the fifth one and sell that one and split that money in half and go that way. And that's what they decided to do.
Oh, great. I mean, how interesting that from decided from cars to contracting the commercial area to construction. This is amazing. And I believe that you will need a lot of skills in leadership. So I want to touch base with you about leadership. What does being a good leader, especially as someone who guides others through complex and important decisions?
Leaderships means it means to me, because I like to make sure I believe I lead by example. You have to train the people under you to do it right the first time. We're in a field where we're serving customers and clients. It doesn't matter their pay grade. We are serving the people, and leadership is about taking accountability. And so that's what it means to me, taking accountability when it comes to leadership. You got to know when to say, I'm sorry, I messed up, but I'm willing to make it right. So being accountable is what leadership is.
Gotcha. I mean, and how important is to be accountable? Nowadays, to be accountable is hard with
Yes.
all social media and everything that we got, but to recognize a mistake and be conscious that you have to lead by example, and at the same time uh, l- lead that way. It's great. I mean, I completely agree that accountable is one of the things, or one of the most important things that a leader needs to be. Regarding young professionals, I imagine that you also cross maybe young professionals within your profession. What's a common mistake that you see young professionals, entrepreneurs make legally or professionally?
I think they overthink things. The young professionals, they overthink things, um, and they don't do enough research. Funniest thing about today is not like long time ago, like me and you, where we had to go out and put flyers on cars, and we had to actually write things up or go to the library. Um,
Yeah.
they have access to the World Wide Web right from their cellular phone, and they still don't do the research. I think a lot of them, they listen to friends and family members who have no clue. They get bad advice, and then they go out with the bad advice to go out and make these silly mistakes that could have been avoided, and it costs them money. So I feel like the young entrepreneurs need to do a lot more research on what they want to do, and they need to draft a plan. They don't have a plan. We live in a TikTok age where we feel if we jump on YouTube and say, okay, I know how to do this. I watch a YouTube video. YouTube videos doesn't give you the full content on the laws and policies that you have to follow out there in the world. It'll give you like a wide overview of what you want, but as far as the policies and procedures and the federal and local laws, YouTube doesn't give you all of that.
I know. Most of the time, young professionals are not looking or verifying the data that they are receiving. They just see like information at that YouTube video and they feel that that's true instead of fact checking. And that's one of the
Yes.
things that we have seen. Most of the people that hear our podcast are entrepreneurs. And some of them are young professionals or young entrepreneurs that are walking this pathway of growing business and thinking about how to be better leaders. But also they are living with the challenges because as you mentioned, we are in the era of free communication, free information. We have access to anything in the palm of our hands with just a cell phone, but we are not fact checking. I was reading an article about ChatGPT because I was interested in which engine is better, if Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever.
Hmm.
And I was in this article, it says that they both can be wrong because there's all sorts of information in the internet that if they pull out information from web pages that don't have truthful information, then they are just sharing that information with you, but they are not fact checking unless you ask them to fact check against a document that you know that it's for sure the truth, like the
Yes.
Constitution of the United States. Go and you please check me if this business model is can be held according to the Constitution, according to the federal laws, according to local
Yep.
laws, and then it will. But we don't do that as young people, even though we have the tools.
Yes. There was an attorney who got in trouble because he did some of his motions when he drafted his motions. I think he did something where he went on Chat GTP and he filled out all of his stuff and he submitted to the courts. And the judge looked at what he was talking about, and some of it was wrong. There was a case that he put inside there where he was trying to give relevant information, similar information to the case that he was working on. And but ChatGPT just grabbed this case out of the wind. And when the judge looked it up and said, this case doesn't even exist. And, the court found out that he was using ChatGPT and they threw the case out. ChatGPT is a tool, and people don't understand. It's a tool, but you still got to do the rest of the work. It's not the magic bullet for any industry. It's a tool that you use. And like any tool that you use, you have to add the human factor to it. And that's what people don't want to do. I think a lot of people get lazy in when they see something that could do something in 5 seconds versus 2 days. ChatGPT
Yeah.
can help you with certain legal documents. But again, when it comes to case laws, you want to fact check it because it's going to make up whatever, it's going to fill in the blank if it can't find it.
Yeah, completely agree. And this is a great advice for young entrepreneurs. Like always fact check, always double check. Don't trust blindly to ChatGPT or any other engine of AI. And it's always a tool, not an end. You have to use it like a tool and then use your human capacity in order to verify what you're looking. Now, Joseph, if you could go back in time and talk to your 20-year-old self, what advice would you give
I would say stay more focused in school so you could become a millionaire today.
him?
School In school, I wasn't too focused. I was more of a rambunctious. So I would have stayed more focused in school, so I could have do a lot of this stuff a lot earlier in my prime time.
Definitely. Do you feel like if you were focused in school, you will accelerate your process now? Talking about like millionaire status, like you will be far the road if you were more focused when you were young?
Yeah, because I'm the type of person, once I get laser focused on something, I accomplish it. I knock it out the bag. Once I set a goal, I don't stop until I accomplish it.
Oh, great. And that's something important. Nowadays, some young entrepreneurs have told me like, hey, I don't care about education. I don't care about, I'm good doing at this. We're all Hispanics. Hispanic entrepreneurs are really good doing or working with their hands and doing stuff. Just, we have like pretty good HVAC people in repair that have $1 million business. They have like $10 $10 million business only on HVAC repair, HVAC maintenance. also in plumbing and wood carving and other businesses that are growing, construction ports, and most of them they're thinking, hey, why do I have to prepare if I didn't do it, but now I have a successful business that it's growing, but these can help you in order to build, to scale your business, to scale your possibilities, to be a better, to have more tools. We were talking about ChatGPT. Education, what brings you, it's more tools in order to have more options to decide what to do with the things or decisions that you have at the moment.
Yes. If you don't prepare, then you're prepared to fail, because preparation is the key to anything that you're going to be successful in. And you always got to have a roadmap for success. And if you don't create a roadmap for success, then you don't know where you're going. You're just stagnant. You're just living. So you got to have a roadmap for success. If you have a business, you have to have a business plan. You need to know in 5 years where this business is going to be. When you hit that 5 year mark, then you need to know, okay, you readjust your business plan, and then you set another set of criteria. Okay, so the next 5 years, where's my business going to be then? So every 5 years, you readjust your business plan to make sure that you're staying on track. You always have to do your KPIs, because you have to know what your business is doing internally. And if you're not looking at business and you're only looking at the money coming in, then you're going to have other problems, because you need to know, okay, this customer called me on the phone. Okay, where did this customer find me? Was it on Google? Was it on Yelp? Was it on Facebook? Was it on TikTok? Because if you have 20 customers and 15 of your customers saying, I found you on Facebook, and you know that your Google advertisement is not working. So stop spending your money over there and then focus on your Facebook advertisement. So you got to know what the business is doing and where your customers is coming from, so you could address this need and adjust your marketing plan.
Yeah, I mean, to plan, it's everything. And I love what you said about the KPIs, because if you don't measure it, you for sure will improve it. Wouldn't improve it. You need to
Yes.
measure in order to improve. And then that's when you have like a ladder, step by step growing, because you know the little steps. My grandmother has a phrase that it says, well, she always asks me like, hey, when I have a big problem and I go to her and I say, hey, I have this huge problem, I don't know how to solve. She always asks me, how do you eat an elephant? And I'm like, I don't know. How do you eat an elephant? And she says, piece by piece. You can eat the whole pie by yourself. You can eat the whole animal by yourself. You need to cut it and plan for it in order to finish it. So a huge problem, or when you have something that it seems really, really far, like to become a millionaire. And I don't come from a wealthy family, so for me to become a millionaire, it's like a far goal. It's an achievable goal, but I won't be in 2 days or in 3 days. I will be in 5 to 7 years according to plan with my KPIs and step by step, as you said, marketing
Yes.
process involved. What do I need in order to build the next step? And that's something really important also for young entrepreneurs, because I believe that they have been living in a world where everything happens so fast. You see in the news like the next unicorn company has come out and they just being $1 billion in 3 years, and they were founded in the third round, and you're like, wow, I want to be that. But what they don't realize is that that's one in a billion. The other ones are grinding every day.
See, a lot of the young people, what they're looking for is they're looking for that ROI. They don't care about the KPI. They're looking at the return on their investment and say, okay, I put money in here. I'm looking to get this back. But they're not looking on the key performance indicators on where the business is going, how you could generate the money, and what return you're going to get on your investment. The KPI and the ROI, that has to go together, as well as your SWOT. It's a whole process, and they don't get that. They're just looking on their return on their investment. But that's what they focus on. And a lot of
Yeah,
them think that, okay, if I start my business today, all right, I should be making $1 million. It doesn't work like that. You have to put your work in. And you got to expect to take a loss in your first year. In that first year, they think that, I'm going to be a million in my first year. No, your first year is you just getting your business off the ground, getting to know your business, getting to know your consumer. Your second year is figuring out that all the stuff you thought about was wrong. Now you got to make the changes. And then your third year is where you're going to start to see just a little bit of profit. But on your fourth year is when you can start to really see your business plan and all the adjustments you made to that business plan because of your KPIs is actually now working. And that's why, like most banks, when they lend you money, they always ask you, how long is your business? Because if you tell them 1 year, they don't want to give you the money. They want you at 3 years in because no 3 years in, they know you don't figure some stuff out. So
Yeah.
again, they're just looking on the return on the investment. They're not looking on the KPI. They're not looking at their SWOTs. They're not looking at none of that stuff.
No, how important is to look at it the whole part and the whole thing together in order to really put the green on. I want to share with you that in our business we have been 5 years in business. The first 3 years, uh, just as you described it. On the second year, I was like, I know nothing. I know
Exactly.
nothing. I need to reinvent myself. I need to reinvent the company in order to survive. And now that we're in the fifth year, now we have processes, we have KPIs, we have a strong team that knows where they're going in the next 5 years. And it's been such a journey that it's really, really good. Now in the fifth year, if I'm truthful with you, past years, I want to quit like 3 or 4 times. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's really, really hard in order to understand how to make decisions. And the market is crazy, politically, socially, economically, everything is like a roller coaster. I don't know how to do it. But in the end, if you keep pushing, if you keep, one of the things that I've learned is to accepting mistakes and learning from them. Because I'm Mexican, and the culture in my country, it's we do not make mistakes. If you make mistake, you're a loser. And what I've learned in the States, because part of my life I've been in the States, it's if you make a mistake, you learn from it because you don't want to make it again, but you will learn from it, and it's fine to have a mistake, but you need to learn from it.
Yes. And that's what I say, any business, whether it's ADR, whether it's construction, whether it's a podcast, whether it's, a supermarket, SWOT is one of the most critical parts. And a lot of people don't know what SWOT is, but SWOT is your strength, your weakness, your opportunity, your threats, and your analysts. You have to know your strengths of your business. You got to know your weakness. You got to know the opportunities that's going to come into the business. And then you got to know your threats. And the threats is usually your competitor. That's your threat because they taking half of that pie away from you. And then you have to do your analysis. You got to analyze your marketing. Is this a great market for me? What's the market's doing? No. So your SWOT is critical. It's just kind of like the blood in your veins and your heart. It's the artery of the business. So if you don't know what your SWOT is, then you need to figure it out, and you have to go through it step by step. You got to know what's my strength. Okay, my strength is great customer service and great food if it's a restaurant. And then you got to know your weakness. The weakness is um, I don't have enough capital to continue going, or I don't have enough of employees, and I'm trying to do everything myself. So I don't have enough labor. So that's the weakness is you don't have enough labor. You could have the capital, but if you don't have the labor to produce the work, then you can fall short. But then you got to understand the opportunities. Opportunities is an investor knocked on my door and he said, "Hey, I would like to invest into the business." And you'd be like, "Nah, I don't want no investors. I just want to do this myself. I want to have it a family business." And this guy could have been a silent partner. He said, "Hey, I'm going to invest $1 million. I just want to be a silent partner. That's it." And now you don't miss the opportunity. And then now you got your threats. Your threat is the guy down the road. You saw the shopping center and you figure, "Oh, I could put my business here." Now you got 7 or 8 other businesses around you that's doing the same thing that you do. So you can't really make no money. You want to be like 1 or 2 people within the area. Your competitors like maybe 10 miles away. And that's where the analytics come in because you got to analyze your business and know all these things and what's going on because you got to market different when you have competitors around you. You have to market different because you got to find a little bit of a niche to give you that edge over your competitor. And that's why SWOT is so important in bringing your business up and keeping it survival.
Definitely. adding with what you just said and what you said in the past questions, most people are going into action without planning. They invest more time doing than really asking why and how and analyzing the SWOT and everything that we just talked about. So one of the things that I'm taking from this podcast that it's always something really, really good from you, Joseph, it's plan, invest time in planning because it will pay. Maybe uh, some entrepreneurs think like, no, I have to do because if not, I'm going to lose the opportunity of the market at the moment, or wherever reason we're thinking that we need to act fast. To plan, it's to execute better and
Yes.
not being stumbling rock by rock, mistake by mistake. If you plan, you can avoid a lot of mistakes and you can understand better in which business you are, which markets you have, what are your strengths, and as you said, which are your weaknesses in order to know where to put. When you receive an opportunity of a silent partner that want to invest $1 million, even though you have an idea of a family business, then you can analyze it and see how it will work for both parties. How,
Mm-hmm.
even though this was not what I have in my mind, it could help according to other plans, like to grow the business, to scale the business, to offer more jobs, to be part of the community, to use it in order to 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 grow the community that we have the business around it. And and that's something to have in mind, like yeah, planning.
Yes.
And Joseph, I know that we're having, well, I am having so much fun, like listening to you and your stories and your experience. We are closing almost on the podcast, but I want to ask you one last question. If people want to reach out to you for help, like in a situation of arbitration, well, maybe not arbitration, but I'm in negotiation, or I don't know, I just want someone to talk with. Uh, First question is, how do I approach a professional? How can I approach you? And the second one is, uh, i- is for you normal like to take like a consultant in your business? Like, I want to analyze your case, and then we'll tell you what are the possible steps to take.
Oh, so if they want to get in contact with us, they could reach us through our website. They could go on www dot georgeandgeorgeadr.com, or they could reach me by email at joseph@georgeandgeorgeadr.com. And if they want to, like for attorneys, we got this thing we just launched. It's called Case Prep Central. That's part of the George and George ADR. It's under the George and George ADR umbrella. And what Case Prep is for us is if you have an attorney who has a case and he feel like, okay, I don't know if this case is winnable in court, he can use our mock trial case central program and come into our mock trial where we have attorneys, retired judges, we have law students that would actually take his case. We would actually create a scenario. He would give us the evidence and we would actually present his case just like if he was in court. And then he could actually watch to see how the strength of his case is. We've got attorneys that already don't start reaching out to us to use our mock trial program. So we know once we kick it off in the next month, when we kick off our case prep central program, we know that that's going to be perfect. And it's also for arbitrators who is new in the industry and they want to start getting that training and getting their feet a little bit wet. So we actually use that for them also, and same as law students who want to use our case prep mock trial system to actually come in there and start getting that, that butterfly out their stomach, we like to say, and kind of get in there, get their feet wet, and see how they could produce their case and get that experience behind it. Not only that, it's all about getting that feedback from seasoned professionals on how they could do better. Because when you're going out there in the real world, sometimes when you're dealing with clients, you don't have a second opportunity. So using our Case Prep Central program, the George and George ADR mock trials, actually is that vehicle for the novice person out there to come in, whether it's a mediator, arbitrator, negotiator, or attorney who has a case that they want to see the strength of it. Or Case Prep Central program is for that.
Oh, that's an amazing tool. Glad you to share it with our audience because the butterflies in the stomach once you have to encounter this sort of situation. They are real.
Yeah.
And what you don't want is to make a mistake or to lose because you didn't focus on the right things or you don't have the whole information. And this is planning. This is to plan ahead even these
Yes.
tough situations where you can have a mock trial and you will have real feedback from real professionals. I mean, this is innovation. This is amazing. I like it, and I'm glad you to share it. I want to tell you the three things that I'm taking away from this podcast. The first one I already told them that it's always plan, invest more time in
Yes.
planning and then executing because that will give you better results. The second one is leadership is accountability. Always be accountable, be the example of it, and teach accountability to the people that you have on your team so you can improve on it. The third one is whenever you are in the situations where you need arbitration, negotiation, try to save the relationship. I know that you as an arbitrator and as an intermediator looking for that, but also when we are the ones in the problem, try to think how can I not save the relationship even for future gains because we're in the same industry. Sometimes we will see our faces again sometime, and maybe we will even need each other sometime in order to acquire more businesses. Always think of that. These are the three takeaways that I take away from this conversation, and I really, really appreciate just at the time that you gave it.
And I like to add in one thing too, repetition. Showing up. Keep showing up. A lot of people get stagnant and they fall off. You got to keep showing up and keep being there and keep pushing through.
All right. Now, if you guys want to learn more about Joseph and his work, you can visit George and George ADR group. And as I said before, it will be on the description under this podcast in any platform you're listening or seeing it. And as always, subscribe to Mente Hispana for more conversation with inspiring leaders. Share this episode with someone who wants to grow with clarify and confidence. Now, Joseph, is there anything else you would like to share with us and our audience before we finish?
Yes, to any of your business audience, um, stop listening to the naysayers. Um, this is your the business that you're trying to grow. It's your passion. Don't let nobody else deviate the other. But again, do the homework, do the research, and keep on it. Um, your clients that you're seeking, make sure you know exactly where you get it from. Make sure you do your SWOT. Other than that, stay strong and stay leading.
Stay strong. Thank you, Joseph. And thank you guys for listening to another episode of Mente Hispana. Today, Joseph reminds us that strong communication, good planning, and positive leadership can turn changes into opportunities. Keep growing, keep leading, and we will see you in the next episode.